What's going on, guys? Matt here today, coming at you with a quick test between insert and dual stage foam. So I feel like if you go online, and I mean like Facebook, Instagram, social media, you're getting your face stuffed full of people pushing these. But I also feel like a lot of times those people are just team drivers hashtagging whoever gives them free crap, right? So we're gonna find out today which one is best. Now I've ran both. I've ran inserts, printed, silicone quite a bit, and then I've ran dual stage foams for a very long time. And for me personally, the dual stage wins out almost always, okay? And I know exactly this many people in my area here in Kentucky that prefer these. If they know the area and they run it a lot, nobody wants these. So that's why I wanted to test these back to back, because I've never really put them back to back with same wheels, tires, truck, everything exactly the same, just changing the insert itself. So I wanted to test it because, yeah, I've ran them both. There are major pros to these. They will way outlast a dual stage normally. And I'm not going to be running these. These are Vanquish. Actually, they don't really fit these tires well. They're a little large. I have some Crawler Innovations that are broke down a little bit. I guess you could say these are broke in, so maybe they're a little bit different than a new set, but I try to use these all I can. But you can see this set has been around for a pretty good while, still holding a decent shape. Sometimes the Crawler Innovation ones, they'll kind of lose their shape a little bit and they don't do well in water. So these are pretty much going to last forever. You can put them through water and they'll be great. But I also feel like I get a lot of bounce out of a insert. Whereas a good dual stage, I seem to just be able to walk up things much easier. So we're going to go out, run a couple lines, starting with the dual stage foams, and then we're going to switch right in the middle of the day and go to these and see how they perform. So let's get to the test runs and just see who wins out.
Just for a reference on the weight here, because I know somebody's gonna say, oh, you gotta have tuning rods. They say that these without tuning rods are best on a truck between 5 and 7 pounds, I think it is. This is like dead up that. So battery, wheels and tires with the anti-foams in there, this is exactly where we're sitting, minus the body, which basically weighs nothing. So we are right at 6 pounds, basically.
So I want to give you guys a closer look here at what we're comparing. And I'm going to spoil the result a bit because this is after the fact, but I thought you guys needed to kind of see closer up what we've got here. The dual stage Crawler Innovations and these V2 anti-foams from Three Brothers. These are some of the originals, and honestly, I didn't like those at all either. I had them mounted in here. The KLRs, OGs, these are like a pretty new set of OGs that I've held onto for years. These are some of the best tires. They're the best tire at this size I've ever ran, and I put these anti-foams in there and they're complete garbage. So I just wanted to talk about this real quick. I haven't tried tuning rings in these, and maybe that makes all the difference. I don't know. I can't see it taking away that bounce I'm getting. Maybe a ring in there, you'll get a little more grab. I don't know. You guys tell me, is that what makes all the difference? When I got these, honestly, I was so disappointed in them. I wasn't willing to waste any more money on tuning rings, okay, when these work so well. Now, where these do work pretty good, I guess, is they kind of have a squared edge. So like hanger lines and your precision is a little better because like you really can't make that fold at all on the side. Whereas this, if you really push on it, you can. I don't have a truck that's ever gonna push it that hard. So these kind of work well for that as well, but these do hold their shape well. And so some lines, I can see that really helping. A lot of people swear by these things that run comps and stuff, and I don't doubt what they know. I'm just saying, in my experience, they're some of the worst money I've ever spent. So if you guys have a set of any of these, I tried to get the YZZR ones, but their site's like under maintenance or something. I couldn't get them. So I haven't ran those. Pretty much everything else I'll give a shot. This has the Endura silicones in it, and I mean, for the price, they're dirt cheap, but I get the same bounce out of them. And these Endura wheels here actually wouldn't hold the bead, so these are kind of glued on, or I would have pulled those to show you, but same thing with those. I wasn't impressed with them at all, and I feel like those tires may actually be pretty good, but those inserts, just too much bounce. I couldn't get any traction, and you'll see that in a little bit with these. But if you have something that works and you want to send the wheel tire combo here, I will put it on any of my trucks you want to see it on, and we'll go run these lines and compare, because I would love to find something that works. If you want to put up the proof, send me a set that works. Let's get to the running. So I decided to come out here to No Limb Dam because this is one of my favorite places to test and tune. The terrain never changes. It's been this way for years. So if you come out here and try an obstacle and you can't make it, you can tweak something on your truck, or you're changing wheels and tires, foams, that sort of thing. You can hit the same thing over and over, year after year, and you know how much better you've gotten at building trucks over time, basically, because there's a lot of things out here I couldn't do originally. A few things I said, one of these days I'm climbing that, and I have now conquered them. So it's a great place to test and tune. As you can see, there's just rocks forever. So this climb here just so happened to be the very first climb that I tried with both of these. I have the dual stage foams on the right, anti-foams on the left. I'm going to leave it that way through the entire video when I do the comparisons. But you'll see, look how easy the dual stage just catches and goes up this. Whereas the foams, I could not get started. And like in my mind, when I was driving with the anti-foams, I was sitting there like questioning my driving, like, am I really hitting this in the right spot? Like, am I doing this right? Am I doing this exactly like I did before? Like, but it was just terrible. I'm just going to let it play out. This is just kind of my experience with these things overall. I've ran several different printed foams, silicone foams. Like, there's a bunch of companies out there. I've ran a ton of them. I'm not here to bash companies. I don't really care who makes what or what you buy. But I'm just tired of people pushing these things. And for me, they've been the absolute worst money I've spent on RC. Dollar for dollar, for pure performance, it's just one of the worst purchases I've made. And this is actually my second set of the anti-foams, true anti-foams. I bought the originals. They were terrible. And I thought maybe these V2s would be a little better. Plus, I just wanted to get the newest ones available to sort of make this comparison. Absolutely terrible. I can't even get started up this. So I think you can hear my frustration. Just so you can see it again, here's the dual stage on the right. You can kind of tell because the tires were brand new with the dual stage. I ran them first. So maybe you could say that the tires were less sticky when I hit it with the anti-foams, but then I put the dual stage back in and had the same result. So like, this bad. This is absolutely it's terrible. Just how these things work for me. That's just all there is to it. I can't even get started up this. Unbelievable. This truck basically went from slaying everything to me wanting to throw it in the freaking water. Like, unbelievable. And if you listen, you can kind of tell the difference with the anti-foams in here. The tires just have this hollow, bark, no bite sound. I should be able to bite right there. I can't even get started up this. Finally got the rear over that hump that it can't get over, and then the front's not where you want it. So you can hear me there trying to explain, you've got to be to the left on this rock because it will wash you out to the right like I'm doing right there.
every time if you can't hang left. And I just could not get those tires to bite with the inserts in there and stay left where it needed to be. So what you will notice on most of these climbs is just the dual stage foams make it a little bit easier. The anti-foams made every line but maybe 2 or 3 that I couldn't get up. But the dual stage foams just make it a little bit easier. They struggle a little less. There's just that little bit of less bounce. This is the same rock here. I just messed up and shot this from the wrong angle, but you can see the anti-foams on the left. I had to kind of bounce a little bit at the bottom, whereas the dual stage just went right up it. And I just play this clip long enough that you can kind of see here when I switch the angle on the dual stage foam on the right side, it is the same rock setup. I just wanted you guys to know that that was the same rock. I just messed up and shot the wrong angle there. The rest of this line, they both handled it pretty much the same because it wasn't any real steep uphill climb to it.
This is one of the easiest climbs to tell if your foam setup is working, or if a tire is good, actually.
This incline here, you almost always have to kind of bump the bottom. So you'll notice even with the dual stage foams, I have to bump that bottom and then carry the momentum up it. I will say my ruptures with dual stage foams handle this rock much better. I'll throw a clip of them in here after we finish bouncing and bobbling around with these anti-foams here. But my ruptures do seem to, at times I've even completely slow crawled this with the ruptures. So here's the ruptures. You'll see I did still have to kind of bump the bottom, but then I was able to carry a slow crawl up the rest of the rock. My scent does a really good job at slow crawling this entire rock. Like it doesn't have to bump the bottom. It's just super heavy, I guess, and it just like sticks, man, and it just goes up this like crazy. But the ruptures were able to just kind of slow crawl all the way up this once I got over that bottom lip, where I just kind of had to carry my momentum with the Megas. So the anti-foams do hold their sidewall really well on technical stuff, but they also just don't conform as well, in my opinion, as the dual stage. Watch on the right how much that front tire is really just kind of grabbing into the rock. Especially here in a second, you'll see it just kind of grab and pinch a little bit. And it really helps me kind of just pull over things a little bit easier. Overall, the anti-foams, like on this climb and a few others, I mean, they did just as well. I ended up making it, but notice the tire really deflating on the right there. And the anti-foams will at a point, but it seems like it just takes a little bit more to get them to really grab. They're almost just kind of floating on the rock until you get a lot of pressure on them, whereas the foams kind of give quicker, I guess. I don't know. This line is actually shot from 2 different angles as well, just because I'm a nerd like that and screw things up. But I thought that the other angle shows the incline of this rock, the angle of it a little bit better. The right side where the dual stage foams are just kind of shows the rock a little better, in my opinion. And I was trying to hit this rock as easy as possible. I knew that I could really just kind of lay into the throttle and get to the top of this and hook the top and ride across it. But I was just trying to see how lightly I could hit it. And it just took more with the anti-foams, and I think you can see there's a lot more bounce there. Actually failed once and had to try it again and just give it a little more punch. So that's what I'm saying, like, you can make pretty much everything with them for the most part. Everything's just a little more difficult.
Now for me, I do feel like the printed inserts have a really good place in my hard body TF2 type builds, because I really like to take those in water, and I'm not looking for crazy performance or just amazing technical crawling with them. So I print my own because I'm not paying for these things, but I do run them in, try to run them in all of my hard body trail trucks because they will hold up the weight of the hard bodies and just work well in the water. Now here you'll see these hold this line really good. I'm going downhill, cutting, going back uphill through this gap, and that's where these not folding at all on the sidewall and just really going where I point them works out really well.
This is one of the points where I really just considered throwing the truck in the water. I was close enough, I could have made it happen, but then I thought, I'm just a foam change away from greatness. Chill out, it'll all be okay.
Now somebody may ask why I run printed foams in 1.0s in the small 24s and 18s. That's because really it's hard to get a good dual stage foam inside of those tiny tires. So the printed foams are kind of the best we can get. I still get a lot of bounce from those, and if I can get a good stockish type foam to work without folding like crazy on the sides, I do prefer that even in those.
About time.
This is one of the lines they both did pretty well. This is on a steep incline, but you're slow crawling it. You're not using wheel speed. So the anti-foams fared pretty well. You will see at this last little spot where you got to get that last hook, the foams on the right just conform a bit better and just grab, hook, and go. And the anti-foams just kind of want to bounce and slide a little. See how I kind of slid? Now, thankfully, that rock is kind of sticking up. I just kind of fell in the gap, and I was able to go ahead and pull it. But that's where I feel like they're just kind of floating on the rocks until they have a massive amount of pressure on them. Now, I have ran some softer printed foams and even the silicones that were softer that seem to conform a bit better than these. But you still get that crazy bounce when you're using your wheel speed. So in a spot like this, in the gnarly rock, they're going to do fine. They hold their shape well. I do feel like the foams, getting that squish, you get a little better sidewall grip. But you can see like these, when you turn, you don't lose anything. Like when you turn that steering servo, because you're not losing anything on the shape of the tire itself, like it will move the whole truck easier, it seems like sometimes. So they do really well and stuff like that. But then you get to this next rock, which is a straight incline, and you just want to burn these things. Like, I mean, unbelievable how terrible they are on a rock like this. And I'm going to tick off the fanboys, hashtag team drivers, and straight up salesmen in RC with this video.
But I'm just giving my experience with them, and I'm trying to figure out why they work for other people or supposedly work for other people. I don't know what planet I'm living on with these funky rocks that these things get this result on, and well, not everybody. I'm going to say a lot of other people swear by them. I mean, everybody I've talked to around here, probably at least 20, 30 people maybe, that at least 10, 15 of them that really know what they're doing won't have anything to do with these things. So what is it? Where am I right now? I don't understand how these are working for everybody else. So if you have a set, you know somebody that has a set, a perfect setup, you think they will work, I'm calling you out because I want to run them. I want to have that setup. This is not to bash anybody. It is to get better.
and somebody's going to get mad and come in the comments and be a total D. But, you know, if you want to be like that, that's fine. You're the scum of this hobby anyways. Let's work together and help me get better. I mean, I'm not saying I'm nobody. Like, I have very little experience with this kind of stuff, honestly. I've been crawling for probably 12, 13 years. So I've tried a lot of stuff, and just this has been my result. So that's why I'm reaching out. You know, I'm putting this out there, giving my experience, being truthful about my experience, hoping somebody can help me. And I don't need a comment saying, oh, run this printed insert, or here, I'll send you this one I printed on my printer last night that my dog drew up. I get that everybody has a 3D printer now and wants to sell their stuff. I've printed my own. I've been there, done that. I don't try to sell anything because I'm not a salesman, but I don't want you to send me something and say, oh, well, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, and that's why they didn't work. No, send me your setup that you say works. I'll run it. I'll pay to ship it here. I'll pay to ship it back. I'll pay you for a new set of the freaking FOAMS if that's what you want. I just want to see these work in person. I've never seen them work in person. I've never had anybody out crawling with me that had any variation of these. I'm not just picking on 3 bros here. Any type of these anti-inserts, whatever, that work. And that's just it. So in my mind, at this point, these things, printed FOAMS, are the biggest scam in RC history. Somewhere in a make-believe world, they work for everybody. To me, this is my perspective, okay? Because they've never worked for me, and I've never seen anybody in my area that ran them that did lines I could do with dual-stage FOAMS. That's just all I'm saying. This is not directed at anybody. This is not shots fired at anybody. I really don't pay much attention to what people run on YouTube. I don't care. I want to give my own perspective, and that's why I'm doing this video. This is my perspective. Doesn't matter if somebody else can say, oh, so-and-so runs these. He's the greatest crawler to ever walk the earth, and he knows everything. Cool. Have him send me a set. Let's try it. All right? And I'm not saying like I'm a pro and, oh, I've got the best setup. I'm just saying this is what's worked for me. And I want to see if there's better, because obviously I want to run the best there is. So I appreciate you guys that stuck around this long listening to my rant. I'm not always negative like this. I love a lot of things. I love this hobby. I loved my truck before I put these inserts in. So, hey, whatever works for you, let's go crawl. Screw this. I'm out.
Well, actually, making mine look like junk.